Okay, hello and welcome to episode 0 of my modding DayZ series. In this preliminary episode, I'm just going to quickly show you what software you need to download as well as setting up your project folder. The software is pretty key to making quality DayZ mods for scripters, and at the very least, you'll need this basic knowledge to do textures and modeling. So the first key piece of information, or a piece of software we need to download is DayZ Tools. The way that you can find this is by going into your Steam library. It comes by default with DayZ. Simply open up your games tab here and select tools. And now you can see we have a lot of hidden tools that we didn't have access to previously. Type in DayZ. Right here is DayZ Tools. You'll want to install that as well as install DayZ Server, because once we test things on DayZ, it would be nice to test them in an offline environment to test them very quickly, but you would also want to test them in a server environment for things like scripting. So go ahead and download those both. We won't need DayZ Server for this tutorial, but we will need DayZ Tools. So go ahead and hit launch on that. Launch DayZ Tools. Don't worry about the other two just yet. And we have our DayZ Tools menu. So DayZ Tools comes with a lot of tools for modding DayZ. The important things we're going to be worrying about right now is the workbench, text view, image to PAA, and everything else you will need at some point. The only thing I'm going to caution you on is to not use the add-on builder. This is because a lot of people will try the add-on builder, and what that'll do is it'll ignore a lot of the warnings and a lot of the errors, and it won't catch them, which is why we install third-party tools by a guy called Mikero. So you can simply Google up Mikero's tools and go to downloads here. And you'll see a whole bunch of installations right here. We don't need premium. Don't worry about paying. What we need to download is DayZ2P, DOGG, DPBO, DWrap, extract PBO, make PBO, PBO project, and Wrapify. So before you install those, go back into DayZ Tools, hit Tools, hit Extract Game Data. It's going to ask if you want to extract the game data. Go ahead and hit yes. I'm going to hit no because I've already done it. That process takes about 10-15 minutes. So while that's downloading, you can download all of this. All the information that we've just downloaded from Mikero can be found under our C drive, program files, down to Mikero, DPBO tools, bin, and here are all of our software. The important one we're going to be using right now is PBO project, so I would recommend sending that to the desktop as a shortcut. Then we can go into our DayZ folder. That can be found by going back to program files, Steam apps, Steam, then Steam apps, common, down to DayZ, I believe it's DayZ tools, bin, go down to image to PAA, and you want to put this down to the desktop as well for texturing purposes. And you want to put text view. We can leave text view since there's a button right there. It doesn't really matter. So right now that that's done, we're going to make our project folder. Make a new folder called My Project with whatever project name you desire. We're going to need an output folder as well as a folder for our source code. So we can create a new folder called Build, and that's where our built files will go. And then our source can be under here. We can simply name it source. Okay, so now that that's done, open up PBO project. You will need to run this as administrator. As you can see, I already have this set up for our mod folder output. We have our build folder. So go ahead and open that. Open up mod folder output. Go to your My Project folder and set that as build. Okay. Now we need to wait for the game files to be done extracting when we extracted our files. Once that's done, go ahead and click Mount Drive P. And what that'll do is create a new virtual drive called Local Disk P. This is where all of our DayZ source code is. Once that's done, what we're going to do is we're going to open up the command prompt, which can be done by going down here and typing in CMD. Either that or you can open up the run menu and type it as well. Now that we have our command prompt open, what we're going to do is we're going to CD, change directory to the P drive like this. Oop. Now that we've got that done, what we're going to do is open up the command prompt. You can do that by clicking under the Windows 10 search bar and typing in cmd, like that. Once you're in here, type cd-d to change to a different drive, and we can go P. Now that we're on the P drive, what we're going to do is we're going to make a link, and this link is going to link our project folder to the P drive. So we can do make link -J to create a junction. Name this something like project, doesn't really matter, and then drag and drop that. Boom. Now you can see we have a new folder called project that is the exact same as in here. As you can see, this is the desktop, whereas this is on the P drive, but as you can see, if we make a new file, it copies over to there. It's the exact same directory. And there you go. See how it's gone. Sometimes it doesn't update. There it goes. So now that's done, we can go back into PBO project, select our source folder, go to the P drive, select our new project directory, and set source as our source folder. Now that that's done, go into setup, copy the exact same settings that we have here. Primarily, you want to do -D, -F, and -W under these checkboxes. Don't need to worry about a Bohemia key. Don't need to worry about that. Something important is delete files in app mod. That just keeps everything nice and clean, and delete all temp files so we don't have a bunch of temp files spamming our folder. Make sure you have noisy output as well. This is helpful for hunting errors, and you make sure that our mission PBOs are multiplayer. Don't worry about beep when finished. Don't worry about a full build. Neither of those matter. So you can check that everything's set up right if your crunch button is actually enabled. If it's not enabled, go ahead and retry this. But as you can see, we've got a crunch. Don't need to worry about that since we don't have anything ready to go yet. So at the end of this, we have our necessary tools installed. We have our DayZ tool installed, and we have our PBO project. When we're going to be working, we're going to be using the PBO project to compile our code. When you want to upload a mod to the workshop, go ahead and use the publisher. And that's all for this tutorial. In the next one, I'll be showing you how to do a basic texture, create a configuration file, and actually see your texture in the game.